Good evening, everyone. This evening, I want to quickly just go over the understanding of white supremacy, and not just America, but in the world, because we need to understand that even in the word understand, meaning that we understand the supremacy and oppression that we're under. But we've heard this time and time again, over and over again, but I want to go about it just a little bit differently so you can catch it from all different angles. So if you notice the thumbnail, it said they lied, they tried, they failed, we prevail, meaning continuous. And we're going to actually define what prevail is, because we're still not defeated, but we still understand that we're under a system of oppression that we have to continue to fight. So just like anything else I do here, I want to make sure that the people see exactly what I see, so we get the same interpretation, or at least close to it, in order for us to have a common definition, so to speak. So we prevail, prove more powerful than opposing forces, be victorious. Prove more powerful than opposing forces, prove more power than opposing forces, and be victorious. That means we're still in a fight. That means we're still at war with the system of white supremacy, because they lied, they tried, they failed, we prevail. Because they continue to fail, we continue to progress, we continue to prevail. Now, I kind of want to get into how this system comes at you in each and every way, and that you have to essentially understand the different methodologies, the different strategy in which this system actually takes to keep people of high melanation suppressed, oppressed, prevent them from making to a particular level, especially on the large masses of it. If you notice, some of the most richest Black people are celebrities. The richest melanated people are celebrities. And I don't just mean like, Jay-Z and Kanye, but even down to the lowest millionaire in the Black community. How do they do that? They prevent you, they stop you, they undermine you, they cut your legs off before you guys can actually start to build the economic structure. And that's important. And they knew that. They knew by cutting the legs, cutting the stem, pulling us from the root of our very economic history that we were building, especially back in 1919, the Red Summer, or the most famous one, 1921 with Tulsa, Oklahoma. We need to understand that they understood by crippling melanated people around the world that we wouldn't significantly make it. And then with this video clip I'm about to show you guys is very important, because this brother broke it down in a very cinematic way that I probably couldn't do myself. So I want to piggyback off of him, and this is fair use. Very good clip of how white supremacy attacks melanated people in all the different angles. A very short clip. Please watch it to the end. I want to give this brother credit. I believe this is Audelio Aulo. I think he's a Nigerian brother, but nonetheless, this was expert in his craftsmanship. And I just want to make sure that I give the brother credit. But with that being said, let's watch this really quick clip again. Give me 1 second, family. We're going to get there. We're going to get there together. All right, here we go.
Did you know the wealthiest man to ever live was Black? Not as wealthy as Elon Musk and Warren Buffett. Then both of them combined. His name was Mansa Musa. He was a West African ruler. His net worth today would have been $400 billion, easy. Really? I kid you not. And did you know Rome was ruled by a Black emperor? Get a grip. You're telling me a Black guy ruled over Rome? And he was arguably one of the greatest Roman emperors to ever live. And his name was Lucius Septimius Severus. God damn. And that brother was North African. I find it a little hard to believe. I mean, the Romans were a superior race of people. I don't think they needed a Black guy to run it. See, at that time, race didn't exist. Let me guess. White people invented race. No. It was the Portuguese. They invented what we know as whiteness and blackness. A man by the name of Gomez de Zurara wrote a book commissioned by the King of Portugal in 1450 to demonize the people of Africa. Why would they do that? What good could come out of it? A trail of fucking wealth. The Portuguese faced resistance from the Europeans, who thought it was wrong to just capture and enslave people. So Gomez de Zurara's book painted Africans in such a negative light, it literally justified kidnapping and enslaving them. Race was a made-up term to just push capitalism and free labor. America was built on the lie of race and white superiority. It never existed. It was made up. What, so you're like a woke historian now? Think about it. If we knew the true history and achievements of people of color globally, and that race was a constructed lie to push capitalism, we could rewrite laws. We could reconstruct our entire government. Imagine what we could accomplish as a species. Mars? We could travel the fucking galaxies. We're not gonna have it. Jim, you're black, but I know what's right. He's woke. What did you say? I repeat, he's woke. Who the fuck you talking to?
I love this part. You got the agents in a room, the imposters, the coons and sambos that sell us out.
Jim, Reg, you know him? Don't worry. It'll all be over soon. I've seen him before. Reg, get him before it's too late. Regime, Jim Crow. I've been here before. Take a look at this pen. Fuck you. So what were you saying? I forget. Probably wasn't even that important. But listen, I'm about to shoot this quick TikTok dance. Do you mind? It'll be super quick. Man, it's trending right now.
Now, I got that video clip from a buddy of mine today, and I just had to show this today because it's very important. Like I said, he broke down white supremacy and racism and colorism in a very cinematic way. I think that was very special. But nonetheless, I remember going to Brazil and I met up with a brother, an ex-football player, NFL. And I don't want to release the brother's name, but I do want to use him as an example because when I went over to Brazil, majority of the brown skin, I mean, when I mean majority, I'm talking about like 99% from my 2-hour observation, brown skin down to my skin, dark skin. They were 99% of the homeless population. They were 99% of the favelas in Brazil. Brown skin and down. They were 99% of the homelessness in Brazil and those who live in the favelas, which is known as ghettos and hoods. 99%. But when I met up with this ex-football player, he told me that there is no racism in Brazil. There's only classism. And I told him there's racism everywhere. There's a system of white supremacy everywhere. And he was hell-bent on that in Brazil. It's about classism. Well, if you notice, I've heard that same exact narrative, that same exact perspective from Americans in who's been to the Dominican or who have been there for a very long time because they go there with an extremely large amount of cash. Okay, you know, one of our dollars equals 50 of their pesos. So you go over there with $1,000 and you turn it up big time. So they're treating you better than they would if you were just a regular citizen and didn't have money or even had money. But you're an American, you're a foreigner, you're going to these different countries, and you're getting a false narrative that because they're treating you at a particular level, it's because it's about classism, about how much money you have, and it's not. Because what I would like everyone to do is an experiment. If you're in one of these countries and you got dual citizenship or you want to change your citizenship, go over there as someone who's making the same amount of money. Go over there and blend in with those people who look like you and make the same amount of money that they make and see if they treat you higher because you are an American or they treat you the same. Because now your economic status has not changed. Because you can't tell me that 99% of the people I saw that look like me and you, dark skin to a light brown skin, are the majority of the people who are living on the street and living in the hood, even in a foreign country. And that is how it's like in every Latin country. That's how it is. And I'm not going hard on Latin countries, by the way. I'm just saying that the system of white supremacy is everywhere. It's in Africa as well. It's in Australia as well. And matter of fact, Australia and Canada is one of the colonies from Britain, from Great Britain. They colonized those countries. And the higher court for Australia and Canada is in Great Britain, is in England. We have to understand, understand how the system of white supremacy weaves itself inside of our culture to a point where it now suppresses us and destroys us within. The other day I did a quote by Hitler, and basically he's saying we have to figure out ways to destroy the enemy within, right? Make particular circumstances for those people to destroy themselves, right? Like with the ghetto. Some people believe that Hitler came up with the ghetto because he named it, and that's pretty much stuck for the most part. Some people, America came up with the whole living people close together and see how they would destroy themselves sort of mentality. So it kind of goes back and forth, but nonetheless, we use ghetto. The ghetto where you're living in close proximity to everyone and you have no essential room, only to live. You don't have a backyard. You don't have extra space to do anything else, to live and sleep and eat, and that's it. Then you cut off their resources. You do not allow them to be part of the public economy. So what's ought to happen? Even crime rates within the Jewish community, as Nazi Germany was doing these things, even they started had it infighting. They had a split. So history will teach you that this is how this has already been experimented, and this is why they know it's successful. Because they love the fact that we are all infighting within each other. Oh, they're American Black, they're English Black, they're African Black. Yeah, we are our own culture because of our upbringing and our homelands, but all of us share African ancestry. And we have been going at it a long time. So now people are now separating. But again, this is what Hitler was talking about. Have the enemy to destroy themselves within. But I'll tell you this, and all this infighting, all these different groups, there has to come to a part where either we break away from one another or we join together, because we understand that as Black Americans, we have joined with a lot of people, and it still hasn't helped us in our fight against the system of white supremacy. It has not helped it at all. But it's very easy to bring out somebody who has always been the face of white supremacy. You know, this whole Karen epidemic, right? They have Karens in news media and news broadcasting as well. And make no doubt about it, when white America does it, when they put their white supremacist faces on the screen, they make sure they are beautiful. So you see it coming from a beautiful face because it's pretty much soft on the eyes. We need to really pay attention, family. Fair use, fair use.
We want all Americans, Black, white, brown, whatever, to have the political power to thrive. I think where you and I are going to disagree on some things is just the methods in which we get there.
From day one, Black people's interactions with the police have been negative. We had to become anti-police just to wake America up.
There's plenty of anecdotes of police officers who simply show up to do their job and they have people screaming at them, F the police. Now, you don't know where that officer is coming from. You don't think that a police officer is a human being that deserves a certain level of respect.
They chose to be a police officer. I didn't choose to be Black.
So you don't think going out and just saying, as a body of people, F you don't think that that's at all problematic?
Policing as a whole is racist. The white supremacists who built this country never earned anything peacefully.
What does sitting for that anthem do? What results has that produced?
If it were up to me, the flag would be waved upside down. because it's a signal of distress. I will kneel to the flag from now on until America gets it right.
When we're talking about solving problems, the methods in which I've seen groups like Black Lives Matter advance their ills, their societal grievances, when it turns into burning, looting in the streets, I don't see it being productive.
So you guys are probably familiar with Tommy Lauren and her racist rhetoric all the time, but they always put a face, that's easy on the eyes. I don't find her highly attractive, but nonetheless, she may be easy on the eyes for a lot of other men. But this is how they put a face on white supremacy to try to lead you in, so to speak. Good evening, Davey Crowder, and as well as Kay. Shalom as well. But do you even know how we are defined in America? Now, it's quite different than everyone else, so to speak. And there's a lot of racism and bigotry, even in the U.S. government to this day, as we know, but on paper as well. And I'm not just talking about the Constitution, okay? I'm not just talking about the Constitution. Let me not be rude. That is what we are enjoying today. I know a lot of you may be familiar with that. All right. So with that being said, I want to show you and break this down and how they defined us in America. This is quite interesting. They label a white person, a person having origins in any of the original peoples of Europe, the Middle East, or North America. Listen to that, family. So anyone from Europe, right, that your origins come from there, maybe the Caucasus Mountains, you're from Europe, so you're white. If you're from the Middle East, like Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, Afghanistan, you are white when you come to America. And then if you go to Morocco, Algiers, those North African countries, those Arab Emirates, you're considered white. And if you guys didn't know, there's sort of a 3630 parallel line, or like a Mason-Dixon line in North Africa, because Southern Moroccans are dark skinned, but you will never see them labeled as white in America. And then you come down to Black or African American. This is absolutely interesting. A person having origins in any of the Black racial groups of Africa. Okay, so why didn't they say a person having origins in any of the original peoples of white racial groups of Africa? Why didn't they say white here? Right? But they label us Black once again within the definition. You guys don't find that like Ollie Procure, like that's not interesting to you guys at all? Because there's no Black racial groups in Africa, ladies and gentlemen. If you would ask any of the countrymen, would it be South Africa, Uganda, Rwanda, Kenya, Somalia, Ethiopia, Nigeria, Ghana, Togo, Benin, all of these African countries, family, Namibia, the Gambia, Zimbabwe. Yeah, I know a lot of them. But here's the thing about it. If you would ask those brothers and sisters, they will probably tell you, what are you talking about, Black racial groups of Africa? Africans just started calling themselves Black. They wasn't calling themselves Black. They were calling themselves their fellow countrymen. In the system of white supremacy, that's who labels you. Now, I won't get into the historical references of before we were Black, we were this. That's kind of cool. That's going to get inside of so many other arguments. Dane Calloway argument about being American Indian and how we were labeled Nubian or Negro and colored. And that's a video for a whole nother day, family. But let's get back on this. It's very important. Then it says American Indian or Alaskan Native, a person having origins in any of the original peoples of North and South America, including Central America. So if you're one of the original peoples, and I don't know how you can essentially prove that, and who maintains tribal affiliation, there it is, who maintains tribal affiliation or community attachment. And that's why a lot of people will understand that a lot of Black Americans' ancestors were American Indian. That's what a lot of people are calling them versus Native Americans, because supposedly there were Black people here even before the red Mongolian type Native Americans were here. But again, that's an argument for another day. But the reason for that, let me go back on that. The reason for that is because if Black people, quote unquote, African descended people were the first people on earth and we were the first explorers, especially Moors, then why do we believe that Red Mongolian Native Americans were here in America? And why not were any Black or African descended original peoples of that land, or Native American or American Indian, whatever you want to call it? Why is that? That's because in the system of white supremacy, they tell you and you listen. That's right. I'm white and I say so. But if you notice, they don't use any color. There's no color. They don't even relabel them within the definition like us, like Black and Black, and no white and white here, American Indian. You'll see none of that. They just say tribal affiliation, original peoples. Okay. They didn't say native. They just said people, origins, and in these lands. People, origins, and in these lands with the white people, right? And also with the Native Hawaiians, a person having origins in any of the people of Hawaii, Guam, Samoa, or other Pacific islands. Again, they don't relabel them within the definition. They don't call them yellow people. You don't even hear them call, Hispanic is not being a race, essentially. Can I break that down very quickly? It's very simple. The reason why Hispanics are not a race is because they fall in so many ethnic groups. And that is by the way of the Spanish polluting and plundering and raping and killing and genociding all over Latin America. That's why. So in Latin America, you have people whiter than white, that Hispanic, and blacker than black, than Hispanic. So they have no true race. You guys didn't know that? That Hispanics fall in all these different ethnic groups, and that is why they're not considered a race, because they have no true race. Because they're either Portuguese or Spanish within their bloodline from Europe, mixed in with the original people of that land. Anytime you speak to a Mexican, they will tell you that they are maybe Aztecian and Spanish, okay? And you have all these different quote unquote Native American tribes mixed in throughout North, South, and Central America. So Hispanics is not no particular race. So when they come over here, majority of them label themselves as white. Why wouldn't they? Let me show you one more thing. Very, very easy. And this is what the definition of white supremacy means according to Oxford language. White supremacy, the belief that white people constitute a superior race and should therefore dominate society, typically to the exclusion or detriment of other racial and ethnic groups, okay? And particularly Black and Jewish people. They say or, but we know it's and. So understanding the system of white supremacy is somewhat difficult at times because they know how to attack us. They know the different strategies that they used against us. And believe it or not, social media is one of them, right? If you look at your child, look at your boy, your girl, your mother, your father, majority of them, when they're on social media, they're not getting empowered. They're being entertained. How many people truly come to social media for information? You would think, oh man, I go on social media all the time. That's you. But really feel the crowd, know your place, be aware. Majority of people go on social media for entertainment. So not even for empowerment or information to live their lives better. So you are diluted, okay? You're inundated with all this entertainment being pumped, and they're using the face of Black Americans. let me take that back. They're using the culture of Black Americans, because a lot of these Black American shows on Netflix and all these, when you look at the actors, a lot of them are Nigerian. So they're not even Black Americans. They may be citizens, not saying that, but they didn't grow up in our culture. That's my point. And I have nothing against people, practicing their craft for a very long time. What's the brother name? He's actually English. Nigerian guy. We thought he was Black American, but he's actually Nigerian. Idris Elba, that guy. They got him to play a second-in-command drug dealer on The Wire in Baltimore. And we all thought that brother was right there from Baltimore or the East Coast somewhere. But he was just an immigrant over here from Europe by the way of Africa, Nigerian, playing a Black American. And this is what Hitler was talking about. Hitler was talking about destroying a people from within. Hopefully we can understand how white supremacy works, especially when it's not visible. A lot of white supremacy, the way they operate, is not visible to the naked eye. You actually have to train yourself, and this may sound weird, but you actually have to train and educate yourself in order to see how white power structures actually shift and move, and for you to understand the environment that you're in. It's kind of like, you got street smarts because you grew up in the streets, you grew up in the hood. That's the same way with really having a historical and present day knowledge and understanding of how white supremacy operates, how it executes certain things, how it uses the people that look like you and I, either from here or from across the pond. I'm gonna tell you right now, any melanated person over here in America, if they speak out against reparations, to me, they are an agent of white supremacy. Yes. So if you know me, if you don't know me, if you do not believe Black Americans, foundational Black Americans, U.S. freedmen are owed reparations, then you are a agent of white supremacy. And you have been sent over here by the white power structure to destroy and disintegrate and decimate Black people who are foundational to this land. That's just what I believe. That good guy said Idris Elba used to sell weed to Dave Chappelle. Yes, Kane, North Africa under white, absolutely. If I go look up pictures from Algeria, which is North Africa, they're going to show you white people. Just do a quick Google search. White people thousands of years ago infiltrated North Africa and they did not leave. They did not leave. Okay, there's a lot of mixture over there, but we need to understand when the white supremacists made certain deals with African tribes, they moved into North Africa and they took over because that was quicker trade lines to their homeland. They just took it over. Say, you guys got the rest of the continent. Can we at least have this up here? So I just want you guys kind of understand that. I didn't do a full breakdown of really showing you like the dynamic dichotomy of really understanding white supremacy, because I didn't want to go with nobody's head with it. All right. I just want to kind of keep it basic. So hopefully you got some insight or ideas or thoughts or perspective from what I just broke down. You guys have a great and wonderful Saturday. I see you guys on the next one. Peace.